Hi, thank you for listening to Reverse Investment Channel. I'm Chi Yao. Let's clarify all confusing terms the government wants us to misunderstand. The economy and the system we currently have, and how they are purposely delivered, are centered with the dollar sign. Our government only cares about one thing: power. I prefer not to call it enslavement, but one easy way to control people is through fiat currency system. They can print all they want, but honest people have to work really hard for it. The fiat currency system or any money devaluation is probably the most common factor to destroy almighty empires throughout human history. And just like sales tactics, it is not about the content, but the delivery. So policymakers deliberately cultivate misconceptions to people. Follow the logic, we can bust the myth and lie. Wealth and GDP. The policymakers want to think GDP represents the wealth. Wealth is a product of capital. Wealth is both productivity and production. The ability to produce defines wealth. Before consuming, we must produce first. Under voluntary behavior and free market, abundant goods lead to a higher standard of living, and then the true wealth can be attained. GDP is all about consumption, whether the money is borrowed or resources are wasted. Even if an economy doesn't produce, as long as it can buy products through debt accumulation or price speculation, these activities are counted into GDP figure. But there is only so long GDP can cheat. The true wealth will always be realized. Government can only manipulate the GDP data, but it can't change the real living standard of the middle class. Inflation and CPI. The policymakers try to use price level to represent the inflation. Inflation is the expansion of the money supply. Inflation is the devaluation of money. Policymakers somehow think they can use a manipulated basket of products and services to convince people printing money will not cause price level to rise. However, that's not true. If you are holding the same amount of paper currency, as more currency gets printed, you own less of everything. Only if inflation is widespread into the system, then we can see CPI increase at the same level of inflation. Asset price appreciation is a result of inflation. Inflation is a steal and a robbery. You are your own asset. The price for your works, whether it's wages or sales, is price level adjusted. It is a robbery through taxation, with asset price appreciation caused by the same policymakers who decide inflation and taxation. It is a steal because financial elites can print fiat currency to buy people's hard work with ease. Inflation is the nightmare of the real wealth producers. And just because policymakers allegedly state the low CPI number, that doesn't mean there is no inflation. Value and price. This is probably the most misunderstood by the people. You hear people talking about it all the time. Their housing value goes up, their portfolio value goes up, or even their bond value goes up. Unless there's an improvement in productivity, the only thing that goes up is the price. Let me give you an example. You don't hear people bragging about the value of a pair of jeans or a bag of chips is going up. They were sold at $29.99 and $2.99 a few years ago, and now sold at $49.99 and $3.99. And people say the price goes up. In fact, if you buy a house a few years ago, the value goes down if you don't put additional utility in it. And the land value probably goes down because it can be used for wealth producing purpose, but now ended up sitting there rotting. And if you want to make the land productive, you have to first spend money to tear down the useless house. So don't confuse value with price. It is a lie from policymakers to expand their power. And that is the difference between investor and speculator. Investor focuses on value, while speculator focuses on price. Value comes from the future buying power. Price is a tag people temporarily agree on. Money and fiat currency. Money must have the value of itself. Fiat currency is a legal paper enforced by the government. It is a bad mimic. We should call it the legal paper. Money has a store of value. Fiat currency doesn't. Money is something people have to work hard for. Fiat currency, the financial elites can put a number and it will come out from printing press or computer screen. Money is a medium, so people buy products with their works. Gold is a good money because of all the above. What's the value of gold? I don't know, but the free market will decide the value for gold. I'm not a gold bug. I look at gold as money, just like any currencies, but there is no value behind all fiat currencies. And based on how the fiat currency is designed to rob and steal, I literally have zero confidence in any fiat currency. I own gold and silver, and I also own paper currencies. But that's because the government wants to make sure they can rob and steal, and they want to make sure there is no legal competition with the fiat currency. And that is why we should call them US paper, Euro paper, or Chinese paper. To wrap it up, in terms of the lies from the policymakers, it is the content people should focus. Dig deeper, as all lies can only stay on the surface. Embrace the free market and sound money. Thank you for listening to Reverse Investment Channel. This is Chi Yao, signing out for now.